It was actually my sophomore year that I dropped out because I ran for homecoming court my freshman year over at Sin High School in Chicago. Um, and I decided to move around, go to Minneapolis, and go to high school again, living with my dad. So it was actually my sophomore year that I decided to stop going to school. I tried like a few alternative schools before dropping out, and then I just dropped out. It wasn't due to like lack of education. It was just I wasn't really attentive. I wasn't paying attention to in school like as I would, before high school. I wasn't focused like I should be. When you want to finish something and get something done, you kind of have to focus on that and just that. So I dropped out. Um, for me, I just don't think you should ever give up, even if you decided, like I said, to go to like a job corps or trade school for older people. The job corps thing is kind of up for, I think, at like 25, you can no longer get into job corps. And so I was happy that there was a way to take the right academics test and take the right assessment testings and everything like that. And then, of course, you have to go through about 10 modules before you can even graduate with a trade. So that takes you studying, learning, passing tests, passing exams, and just depending on how far you want to go with it, it's how far you need to be in your education. So being, you know, just being as far as you can in your education, in whatever the profession is that you're trying to do. I don't think it takes every profession, but a lot of professions do take some education. And so I guess that's how they scale what they want to pay you, because that's what they feel like you know. So I just said, I got to get this done because I want to be able to get 19 an hour for sitting at the front desk, doing nothing but fouling patients or preparing them for the doctor, instead of getting 12 or 13 an hour or 14 an hour. I can now get 24 an hour if I go ahead and pass this exam right quick, because that means he can bust out of there and be like, yo, I need you to come from behind the desk, and I need you to come back here, and I need you to tend to this patient, and I need you to do my job for 5 minutes because I have to go do lunch. So it's like, okay. So for that reason, I do need to pass this exam. So there's definitely a difference between a medical assistant and a certified medical assistant. There's also a difference between a certified medical assistant and a registered nurse. However, a registered nurse and a certified medical assistant are pretty much almost there. You pretty much just have to bridge in the gap there, education-wise. So that's what this is pretty much about for me. And then I can go ahead and knock that NCCT out and sign up for classes to further my education in the medical field. People say, well, don't you have a criminal history? Anything I've ever been arrested for, I've kind of just been like let off on it. I get found out, I go to court. The little probation they gave me, they took me in as an inpatient, and then the lady like says that I pissed dirty for marijuana 14 times, so the judge was like, what do you want to do? So I'll just do probation. And so then I did probation, and then I went to jail for like violating my probation. And so this was after I graduated as a medical assistant. And so, even though I was arrested, like the night before my graduation, that was a misdemeanor of not even prostitution. It was just a solicitation charge, just accepting a solicitation, like a solicitation charge the night before my graduation at a bachelor party, which wasn't really even a party, since his friends were cops. So it doesn't matter. It matters not. I still was able to get my credentials, my credits, graduate, do what I needed to do, and I'm not going to stop doing that. Like, I take breaks away from it, but I don't think it's not good to have nothing under your belt, just in case you fail at all the sexy stuff like stripping, dancing, making men come, standing there looking beautiful. It's things that may not last forever with me. Like, maybe I may get really ugly and, it's no longer something like that. So I just want to back myself up and have what I need. I like working as a cashier. When I was working as a cashier, that was nice and everything, but at the same time, no. I think like everybody just, so that's fine. I don't know what I want to do next. I think I just want to finish this, knock this out, and just get back on my feet with that. It's like I'm almost certain I know how to solve COVID. Like I'm almost certain I know what COVID is, but it takes me actually having some kind of medical degree behind me to even write this blog that I want to write. So that it's not, right now it's just speaking on an opinion, but I'm almost certain that it's bloated gas inside of your gastrolic area and system, and it's bloated there, and it overheats your body when the gas doesn't pass through, and it causes you to sweat and have flu symptoms and throw up because you can't pass it. You can't pass the gas, fart, belch, anything. So then you start throwing up because the gas is sitting there, and so it's holding everything before that that bulky there. And so then you throw up and you shit yourself because that gas ball is sitting there. And so everything under it and over it is coming up and going under, and you have these flu systems coming out, and you wasn't down for getting the flu shots as a kid or a teenager. You never got popped for none of that shit. So it's not passing through, right? So what you need to do, like I tell my sister, my mother, my friends, and everyone else, and, people that I've, heard complain of possibly, drink coffee, soda, fart. Do not be afraid to fart. And if you can, before you rush to dial 911, it's just in my opinion. I don't want to say it's a fact because I don't want to, before you rush to call 911 and go to the hospital and allow them to make you sit there and go through that, because you got to remember, you're now in the ambulance, right? And you're still throwing up and shitting, and they're saying this is COVID, and the person in the ambulance has not solved COVID. So they're waiting to get you to the person to push that shit through you. And then they put the water through you, and they say that it's because you're dehydrated. They don't give you coffee, soda, something to belch, fart, and shit. Coffee makes you naturally shit. Like if you have 2 cups of coffee in the morning, you're going to shit before you start your day. It's a good fresh cleanser. It cleanses out things. And so you need to fart, throw up, and shit. And once that hard fart comes out, boom, you all right there. You feel it empty. You don't feel nothing. You're not sweaty no more. You drink that ice cold soda. You belch. You do that right there. You toss on yourself a nice clean t-shirt. And then you put the thermometer in your mouth. Your body temperature has now went completely the fuck down. And I'm sure of this. A hotel almost got sued by me. I'm not going to bust them out. I'm sure of this. You hear me? Yeah. Type shit, because they didn't have nobody there at first, like with the little thing and shit, testing motherfuckers and making sure you had on the mask. So I don't know what they seen me go through from their corner eye in that motherfucking parking lot, but they knew something because they put a motherfucker right there 2 days later and shit on the visit back. And I kind of tripped seeing a bitch walk out of there with like no mask. Like, where the fuck were you at the other day and shit, bitch? Were yo stankin' ass in here with no mask on the other day when I walked out of here throwing up and shit, bitch? So I said, I know I went in this motherfucker Gucci. It comes out of here all nasty and shit. So when did we last have that? That was like we dropped that car off over there. Car was that? I was in a rental that day too. And I had on my Rich Vibes leggings outfit. That's what I put on. And it was just really weird. So I popped that on. I had that in my trunk. And so I put that on. And so I had on a sweaty shirt. And I said, I gotta test myself for this. I don't have COVID. And so that's COVID, what I just went through. I'm sure it was COVID because I thought I was dying. I had 911 on my phone about to press call. So I'm sure that I was just dying in the backseat of the car. But then I threw up right quick, farted like a motherfucker down and shit in myself. And it passed. It passed what was right there. That bloated cramp that would not seem to move to the point where I started sweating. My body started rising in temperature. That's COVID. in my mind. And so I'm going to tell you like this: soup, soda, coffee. That's what I want you to do, okay? Soup, soda, coffee. Things that help it pass. Try not to do too much yeasty type of like bready type things, do like milk, dairy, something that'll help it pass through. And you should be able to get through, and so you can get there and get your vaccine if that's what you want to, if you want to put that in your body. But it's up to you. I don't know what this new vaccine is, and so just me saying that, someone would try to test me with like putting a COVID patient in the same room as me, but I don't know what that new vaccine is. I would not refer it in my body. I've had enough vaccines put in me throughout like my childhood and then like growing up. I have done stuff like faked a rape so that I can get a free gynecology kit, and then they go popping you with all kinds of shit on those times. And then let's see, since like I didn't have the money for it. Could you have a police? I don't know. I have a police report. I just know I was raped. God. And then they check your coochie, pop you with whatever you need, hook you up. Then of course, when I was again on probation, unfortunately, and I sat in jail for 30 days, I was popped with some stuff. I think like flu this, flu that, coochie care that. So for me, it's just all about like not seeing if it passes, but allowing things to pass. Like this too shall pass. And so that's how I feel about the COVID thing. But I did have 911 on my phone, ready to let them come rescue me from the parking lot that day. And I somehow got to my feet and drove myself home and was able to run errands and take a shower and do everything else. So I just said, oh well. The thermometer is giving me a clear 97, giving me 96.3. So at that point, I just said, don't worry about it. Anyways, talk to you all a little bit later. Let it pass, baby. Let it pass. Have a good day.